Welcome to GAMEpoch, the show where I play through the history of video games in the order of their release, starting with Super Mario Bros. On the Nintendo. I'm MystikDan, and today I am playing Metroid, one of the most influential games that has been made. Following in the footsteps of Zelda, it kind of combines it with Mario and turns it from an open-world exploration overhead view in a fantasy setting to a side-scrolling, platforming adventure game like Mario meets Zelda, but with a sci-fi futuristic setting, although it's very dark and brooding and atmospheric and kind of moody and very lonely. You play the bounty hunter Samus, who, as we can see here, has an emergency order. Defeat the Metroid of the planet Zebeth, or Zebeth as it's translated later, and destroy the Mother Brain, the mechanical life thing, Galaxy Federal Police M510 or something, I don't even know what that's for. But anyway, I forgot to say when I was starting. Well, whatever. We'll just say I started at 1 minute and 30 seconds. Alright, and this game is hard, not because it's technically super hard. It can be if you purposefully don't get a lot of the upgrades. Oh, I can shoot up. Good. I thought you could. But yeah, you just start off with not even your full health, and you'll notice a couple things. You can jump straight up and then move left and right and stay aloft, or you can jump as you're holding a direction and you'll spin and you won't be able to get out of it. When you're in a straight jump, you can't start spinning, and when you're in a spinning jump, you can't get out of it. You can not duck. You can't duck, you can't crawl, so how are you supposed to get through that thing? So you come over here and then you see a glowy thing, and you touch it, and all of a sudden when you press down, you turn into a ball. It's called Maru Maru if you look in the instruction booklet. The rest of us just know it as Morph Ball. Was there anything else over here? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure there isn't. But yeah, so you start off with this little pew-pew that doesn't get very far. And this is good that they did it this way. They designed it so that you would have to use the Morph Ball because you can't get up there. So you'd be like, how do I get out of here? And then you push down to crawl and realize, oh, I turn into a ball. That's fun. Why would I want to crawl if I can turn into a ball? So yeah, that's where it comes from. This starts with this game. She has a pitifully... Well, I just spoiled something. In case you did not know by now, Samus is not actually male, even though the instruction booklet calls Samus a male. It straight up just says, he will something something. And, it's a total lie, and you don't find that out unless you beat the game fast enough. And she takes off her helmet, or she just completely takes off her suit, and then you realize, oh, she's a woman. And it was amazing. It was the first time that it happened where people were actually able to play a female protagonist. It's a little sad that that was how it was, but I don't know. That's just how it was. Granted, most game developers were male, and a lot of game developers would just make the games to be relatable to themselves. And so, because they were male, having the main character be male just made him relatable to themselves. It was not inherently supposed to be sexist. And the fact that we are hearing a lot of that in our commentary on gamers and gaming is very frustrating. I do not believe by any means that the average gamer is sexist or bigoted. There are some that are, just like there are in every group. So anyway, you come out here and you see all these platforms, you're wanting to climb them and shooting things, and it's like, okay, this is kind of cool, what's the point? And eventually you'll start to realize as you get on that there's no levels in the traditional sense. This isn't level or stage 1 or world 1 or whatever. This is very much like Zelda was, where it was just kind of a connected world. But there's no dungeons per se. Everything is just kind of this way. This is a, you know, one-to-one representation of everything. Your character's not gonna go into a new place and then suddenly shrink in size, or go into a completely different, like, area. Like, there are elevators that you'll notice will connect you to different regions, but everything is still basically formed the same. There are a couple of doors that I'm skipping for the moment just because I want to go to the top of this room. What makes this game so hard It does take some technical skill, and the controls are a little bit stiff and awkward until you get used to them. The hardest part is just knowing where to go. There's just nothing to help you. Absolutely nothing. And I would say that that's a detriment unless you really like the idea of being dropped into a world where there is nothing to guide you. To be as challenging and realistic in that way as possible. I guess some people could really dig that. If they really want a challenge in that way. And they don't mind being completely lost all the time. I'm actually getting wasted right now. This is not good. These things are actually designed to provide a never-ending source of life. You know, to help you refuel and stuff. So that's kind of nice. It's just you gotta position yourself right and know how to take advantage of it. And you can sit here and get your your energy up. And I don't know, like, I wonder how great this game really looked back in the day. Because I didn't play this. The first time I played this, I was like 19. And I was emulating it, and I was like, yeah, I'm really glad I have the internet. I can game facts and VG maps this and stuff like that. Because this would have been a nightmare to play back in the day. It would have taken forever. So maybe not a nightmare, but it would have been a whole lot harder and taken a lot more time and effort. And, you know, you'd have to draw your own maps, and you'd have to take notes about, oh, I found this here, and I found this, what does this do? And trying to figure it out and stuff. Later games have helped to provide more information about what you found. And, I mean, even Super Metroid provides a map. The Game Boy game, I would say, is even harder because there are so many required hidden places that you have to just find. And the spider ball, which allows you to connect to the wall as a morph ball and crawl along the wall, the floors and the ceilings, is kind of necessary to just take that and roam all around the walls everywhere just because so many of those just need to be bombed. Aww. So you can't open this and you're like, oh, bummer. Push start and it pauses it. Select doesn't seem to do anything. Oh, lava sand goop. So, to talk about this game and who made it, because I mean, this is a Nintendo game. This is one of Nintendo's main franchises, although it has seen far less love by Nintendo than the other big ones. Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. Despite being, I think, probably their best series, in my opinion, Super Metroid and Metroid Prime, all three of them, but I think especially probably the first one, are some of the most solid games in all of gaming. And while Mario and Zelda both absolutely deserve their place among the greats, the music changed. So there must be something interesting going on here. It's definitely overwhelming to walk around and have all these guys and having very limited movement and I can't get through that door. Ow. Ow. Jeez, those take a lot of hits. And I'm not noticing any difference in the energy pellets to say which ones heal only 5 and if there are any that heal any more than that. Later games, it's a little more obvious. So this was made by Nintendo's first, like, INR division or whatever. What exactly did it say? It's Research and Development 1. But it was also cooperatively made with Intelligent Systems. And if I remember that correctly, this interesting little connecting place, they are the ones who made Fire Emblem and Paper Mario. Yep. So that's kind of interesting. I think this is the only Metroid that they helped make, though. It was produced by Gunpei Yokoi, who is popular for having designed the Game Boy, and unfortunately the Virtual Boy, and he helped design and create this game. and Mario Land 1 and 2, actually. This was also directed by Yoshoi Sakamoto, who I have very mixed opinion on, but he helped create this stuff, as well as Satoru Okada. Not actually sure if they've done any, that person's done anything else. Can I say they have? I can't even click on their name, so I don't know. I got Wikipedia open on the side just for good facts. So things are just kind of a pain to kill when you start off this game, so it can be very overwhelming. And you don't seem to have a lot of health, and they seem to take a lot of health when they hit you, so it's kind of like, whoa, jeez. How am I gonna survive this? And you can't even hit this, so you're like, well, that block looks different, so maybe you're supposed to hit it, but you can't, so... Yeah, I don't know, it's just... This is like the kind of game where you would be going down and drawing all of this stuff as you're going, because there's no way you're gonna keep track of this in your head. Like, at all. Like, I've played Super Metroid many times, and I still don't quite have the in-game map for that totally down. Pretty close, but I mean, this game, I haven't played it enough to be able to get to that point. Anybody who can, who's played it enough where they've got the layout of this in-game world down, has crazy props to them, because I can't do it. One of the downsides of this is, while there are some graphical differences in some of the color palette, and a little bit of the ground looks different, and, you know, some of these have lava pits and stuff. I don't know, a lot of the visual design, as far as the graphics of the objects and the levels and the enemies themselves, are kind of bland and uninteresting and kind of poor. But the one thing that they do help provide is to give a sense of the somber ambience, whatever. And a lot of that is just accompanied by its sound, you know, the music and stuff. Also, that's interesting. This is one of my favorite things to get. An E-tank is what they've come to be called. You'll now notice above... Oops. Oh, crap. I'm getting hurt. Why can't I get that health? Nah. I now have a blue... Oh, stop. No. There we go. There's a blue block above the EN number. That's an energy tank. That gives me an entire additional 100 health. Oh, man. See, I'm a veteran Metroid series player, and I'm still really struggling, even with just the controls. They're kind of weird and janky. But, you know, it's alright. It was designed that way, so... And you can learn them and get a pretty good mastery of them if you work hard. And then there's just nothing you can do here. Yeah, I mean, if you're not lost, then you've got like a photographic memory or something, because I certainly don't. I'm most likely, I'm definitely going to finish this game, because I very much want to, and I want to show you guys the entirety of it. Because it has one of the most iconic game endings. Ending sequences, I should say, like the final level in all of gaming. It's super awesome, and it's totally epic. I still can't get through these doors. But I'm almost definitely going to rely on walkthroughs and maps for this, just because I don't want to take an eternity finishing this game. I'm too excited to get to some of the rest of the games in my series. So, and the music was done by Hirokazu Tanaka, or as you more commonly may have heard him referred to as, Hip Tanaka. He is famous for doing the music in Metroid and the Mother games, Mother 1 and Earthbound. I don't know if he did Mother 3. I don't think he did, but he might have. And I thought he did Mega Man music, but I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, he's done some sweet music in the video game library. He is awesome. But Yoshio Sakamoto is one of the directors of this game and one of the designers and creators. Makoto Kano was a writer, apparently. Interesting. I don't really know exactly how much writing they did, except to determine some of the backstory. Samus is a bounty hunter, there are space pirates. I don't even know if space pirates were in this game. They definitely came later. And then designing, like, the idea behind Mother Brain and the planet and all that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of lore here. Not too much. Lore doesn't come into play until there's a little bit more in Metroid 2, but even that is just kind of setting up the stage. A little more lore is brought in with Super Metroid, and it gets a little more interesting and involved at that point, but even then it's kind of, like, it doesn't get in the way of the gameplay at all after you get past the intro, and that's very important. I think it's good for games to not have the plot and the story interrupt and get in the way of your gameplay experience. Doesn't mean you can't have gameplay story. In fact, usually your game is made better by having a great story and great plot, I think. But it should not come at the expense of the gameplay experience. That is certainly my opinion. And I used to give a lot of weight to game story. You know, I came from being a huge fan of Japanese role-playing games as a kid, so that basically requires you to... Ah, here we go. Now below my EN thing, I've got a weird-looking icon that could, like, be a spaceship, missiles or something. So if I push select, I look slightly different, and I fire missiles! Sweet! They definitely do more damage. But now I'm out. So I have a very limited stock of missiles, but you can collect more of them just like you collect more health. I really wish all of these would drop something. So that is probably what you might assume you might need to use to open some of those red doors that we haven't been able to open. So far I've only got 5, so that's kind of a bummer. You might hope that you will be able to hold more later on. And if you did hope that, you would be correct. We will certainly find more missiles. And that was one of the interesting things about this game. More than other games before it, even Zelda. Well, I want to go to open up a lot more of those red doors before I move on. This game has permanent upgrades. Where with Zelda, you would get these permanent items that you would carry around with you forever that, you know, acted as upgrades in a way because now you could have additional functions that you could perform. But with this game, it was a little bit different because it went beyond just, oh, now you can use a different item that does a different function. The closest that Zelda got to that was, you know, additional armor, stronger armor and sword and more hearts. And this does kind of the same thing, but like you would get massive upgrades to your beam and to your... So it's kind of similar to that way. So Metroid and Zelda really have a lot in common. They just have slightly different themes and more of an emphasis on sci-fi and one interconnected world of exploration in this game rather than in Zelda. But it's still very similar. I am about to die. I am in really bad shape. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have save stations. You just keep going until you die, and then you use a password. And I don't know where it starts you when you die. I know that, at least in this world, which is Brinstar, I believe is the name of this area, that you start where you start the whole game. I don't know that they do that for the rest of the game when you get past this place. I really can't remember. I have not played this game more than, I think, once, maybe twice. I think I've played it twice. And I've never dared try playing it without help because it's just way too daunting of a task to do so. But anyway, I believe this has been a long episode, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. Yeah, so sorry that I ran on a little bit, but this is what we got in store. We got Metroid. This is gonna be awesome. Very challenging and trying, but pretty cool. as you develop and power up, it's very much like the Zelda experience where you just become more equipped to handle the world. You become more powerful. You have more life, more missiles, and better armor, and you can do cooler things with your beam and stuff like that. So it'll be fun. And finding secrets is very rewarding in this game. So anyway, thanks for checking out this episode of GameePoch. This is MystikDan signing out. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.